Hello everyone, welcome to Edu Bureau. I am Bhavna Kapoor. Today I have come up with an important topic, that is South China Sea dispute, which is very important from the international relations perspective, and all international relations enthusiasts are quite keen in knowing more about it. So let's just begin. What is the background of South China Sea dispute? The Philippines invoked the dispute settlement mechanism of UNCLOS, that is United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, in 2013 to test the legality of China's 9-line regarding the disputed Spratlys. In response, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, that is PCA, at The Hague decreed in its 2016 verdict that the line had no legal basis. However, Chinese dismissed the judgment as null and void. Talking about the importance of South China Sea, that it is very important to littoral countries, and it has been transit point for trade since early medieval times. It contains abundantly rich fisheries, and it is an important repository of mineral deposits and hydrocarbon reserves as well. Now, talking about the PCA's verdict, then the PCA award undermined the Chinese claim. It held that none of the features of Spratlys qualified them as islands, and there was no legal basis for China to claim historic rights and to the resources within the 9-line. Further, the UNCLOS provides that islands must sustain habitation and capacity for non-extractive economic activity, and reefs and shoals that are unable to do so are considered low tide elevations. The award implied that China violated the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, that is EEZ, and aggravated the situation by undertaking land reclamation and construction, and had harmed the environment and violated its obligation to preserve the ecosystem. China dismissed the award as political farce under the pretext of law. Now, talking about the power equations in South China Sea, then it's very important to know in the context that Philippines did not press for enforcement of the law and acquiesced in the status quo. Not one country challenged China, which agreed to settle disputes bilaterally and to continue work on a code of conduct with countries of ASEAN, that is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. ASEAN has deepening ties with China and apparent growing discontent. While avoiding military confrontation with China, they are seeking political insurance, strengthening their navies, and deepening military relations with the US and other superpowers. Growing China muscularity in South China Sea is visible in increased patrolling and live fire exercising by Chinese naval vessels, ramming and sinking of fishing vessels and of other claimant countries, renaming of South China Sea features, and building of runways, bunkers, and habitation for any possible long-term stationing of personnel on the atolls claimed by China. Now, the festering regional resentment against China resulted in the unmooring of the ASEAN response to the growing Chinese footprint in the South China Sea in its 36th summit in June 2020. A complicating factor for China is Russia's growing military and economic equities in South China Sea. Russia and Vietnam have a defense relations as well. Now, what could be India's relevant option in such a situation? From India's perspective, foreign and security policy in its largest neighborhood covers the entire expanse of Asia Pacific and extends to the Persian Gulf and West Asia. India straddles and is a fulcrum of the region between Suez and Shanghai, between West and East Asia, and between Mediterranean and South China Sea. The South China Sea carries merchandise to and from India. It follows that India has a stake in South China Sea just as China has in the Indian Ocean. India must continue pursuing its defense diplomacy outreach in the Indo-Pacific region by increasing military training and conducting exercises and exchanges at a higher level of complexity. It should also extend humanitarian assistance and disaster relief activities, and it's also, more sharing of patrolling of the Malacca Strait with the littoral countries, etc. The comprehensive strategic partnerships that India has concluded with Australia, Japan, Indonesia, and US and Vietnam could be extended to Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Singapore. India must accelerate the military capacity of the Tri-Service Andaman and Nicobar Command, and these have immense geostrategic value as they overlook Asia's maritime strategic lifeline and the world's most important global sea lane. So, in this time of turbulence, India cannot afford to continue undervaluing one of its biggest assets. That's all for today's video. Thank you and have a great day.